I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the June 6, 2017 edition of The Bible Delight in the Details. A couple days ago, we had started talking about the Psalms, and I wanted to finish talking about the Psalms as literature before we start into our multi-session series on some of the great Psalms. We had talked about the fact that it was the ancient hymnal of ancient Israel, and that these poems put to music would have been sung primarily by the men, the Levite priests that had been trained in their musicianship, and they would have been singing primarily in the courtyard of the temple. But not just them. We do have some hymns that we know were also sung by the common people. Some of these are known as the Songs of Ascent, that were sung not only by the Levites as they went up the steps of the temple and were in the courtyard at the laver, at the altar, but also would have been sung during the Passover, and also as people were journeying up to Mount Zion, up to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem to worship. But I want to talk very briefly about the format of the Psalms. This is Hebrew poetry, unlike English poetry, where we think of it as being either rhyme or metered out, Shakespeare's iambic pentameter being the most common. Excuse me. Hebrew poetry was based on parallelism and couplets. Couplets are obviously two lines. And so instead of looking for a meter or a rhyme, excuse me just a second, you would be looking for either comparisons or contrasts. So a lot of the Psalms, for emphasis, have a statement, and then the next statement is kind of a restatement of the first. It says it in almost in similar but slightly different words. Now, this makes some people think, oh, the Psalms are very repetitive, but you have to understand that is the way that Hebrew poetry was done. Either it is repetitive parallelism, something that is similar, or it can be in contrast. So, for example, in Psalm 1, talking about the righteous, who is like a tree planted by the waters, and then in the couplet, the wicked are described in the opposite terms, as in chaff. So look for the similarities and look for the differences. Now, you might wonder, why is this a way of teaching and a way of writing? Anyway, well, interestingly, the human mind learns that way. I always tell people, if you would know whether a trainer or teacher is good, one of the ways you can know is listen to them and see how they explain things. Do they explain things with commonalities, saying it's like this is similar to this, and then contrasting as opposed to that? It is a symbol of a good teacher, because it is the way that the human brain actually tries to learn new concepts, as they look for those commonalities and also the contrasts. So that's a little bit about how to look at the Psalms. Visit me tomorrow and days in the future as we look at the great Psalms that are right in the middle of the Bible to help us know how to live wisely. I'll see you next time.